They wanna know about Islam, we'll give them da'wah. They wanna know what a Muslim does, we'll give them da'wah. When they wanna hate on our deen, we'll give them da'wah.
كن فريدا عش بفخر في الحياة لا تبالي.
I want your view to be clear on it.
Yeah, absolutely. Please, please. You're helping me actually. Yes, yes, yeah.
So obviously you must have said that the New Zealand attack perpetrator, the suspect of the attack, that one of his motivations was actually Christian values.
No, I didn't. I never said that.
You definitely, at the least, you insinuate.
No, I did not.
Right.
You got it wrong. What I was saying was he was definitely inspired by Crusader violence against Muslims.
Right.
Crusaders were a Christian establishment in the 12th century.
True.
Okay, they came about due to the Crusades.
Right.
Right. So Crusades, you know the word Crusades.
Sure.
It means the war of the cross.
Yeah.
Okay. So these are Catholics. I understand that current Christians, we call them evangelical Christians or Protestants, and Anglicans do not agree with the Crusades.
Yeah, of course.
Okay,
yes.
Okay.
Any decent Christian will disagree with the Crusades.
Of course, I understand that. I acknowledge that decent Christians today do not agree with the Crusades because they were barbaric.
Yes.
They were barbaric wars waged against Muslims unfairly, unjustly. They were based upon lies. The reason why I kept calling DCCI team the Crusaders is because they are doing exactly the same thing the Catholic Church was doing at the time. What was the Catholic Church doing at the time? You need to understand this. You need to understand the reasons behind this Crusader-inspired violence against Muslims, which is resurging again in our age. You have to understand the reasons behind it. The reasons were misrepresentation of Islam, misconceptions about Muslims, lies against Muslims. There is a book I really strongly recommend that you read. It is titled Islam and the West, Making of an Image.
Right.
Making of an Image. It's by Daniel Norman. There's a man called Daniel Norman who is in this book. He documents all the lies the Catholic Church during the Middle Ages was pumping against Muslims, and these lies inspired the violence against Muslims. This is exactly what DCCI does today. Right. If you watch their videos, their mockumentaries, have you seen the mockumentaries?
I have. Now,
okay, they are mocking. If we start making videos like that about Christians and start mocking Christians in the belief that they worship the cross, if we start, for example, I want you to understand and imagine.
I 100% understand you, and I get what you're saying.
Yes.
However, I think what you're doing is you're misconstruing the situation. You're mistaking the actions of a minority of people against Muslims. You're mistaking their intentions and motivations. You're saying that their main motivations are what? What are you saying?
Of DCCI in particular.
DCCI. Let's say
I'm talking about DCCI.
New Zealand attack, for example.
Yeah.
What do you personally believe his main motivation was? Because from that conversation, the way it came across,
his main motivations were to kill Muslims.
Right. Okay.
That's what he did.
Okay. That was his action. What do you believe was his motivation?
His motivation was hatred against Muslims, inspired by historic events.
Right.
Because his gun says it all. His gun had dates, names, and references.
Right, okay.
This is a psychopath who has studied history and has come to conclude certain things from history, and then he put those conclusions into action by killing Muslims.
Right.
And what were those conclusions? The conclusions, looking at the dates and the references, were obviously very similar to the conclusions of the Crusaders, or things DCCI is trying to inspire. So hatred against Muslims, mocking Muslims.
So New Zealand attack and the DCCI team.
Absolutely. The only difference is they are non-violent. They are non-violent. The only difference, yes, 100%. The only difference is they are non-violent, and the New Zealand attacker was violent.
Do you genuinely believe that they harbour the same kind of genuine hatred inside of them for Muslims that the attacker? Do you genuinely believe?
I believe they hate the Muslims more than the attacker, possibly. I'll tell you why. Ask me why. Ask me why. Okay. They curse our Prophet on a daily basis. DCCI people, they call him all sorts of things. They did that today in front of you. They cursed a noble man, a man who taught nothing but morality, a man who taught nothing but taking care of orphans, widows, the poor, the needy, your parents, they called him that word.
You said he was earlier.
No, I didn't say that.
You were saying.
Are you hearing things? Are you hearing things? Did you? It's clear that people like yourself hear things selectively. Okay.
No.
You hear things selectively.
In England, in the 17th century.
I said by your standard, by your reasoning. Did you hear me?
Yeah.
When I said by your reasoning, all people before the 19th century were pedophiles. This is what I said.
Correct.
Right? By your standard.
Relations with a child, you're a pedophile. That transcends through time.
No, it doesn't.
Yes,
It doesn't.
Yes, it does.
What is a child? Okay, good. Now I'm going to shift this to.
What is morally?
What is a child? What is a
right
child? Do you know what is a child? What is a child?
Can I make my point first, and then you can?
Let's wait. I like to talk. You said anyone having sex with a child is that timelessly, is a pedophile timelessly. You said that, right? You said that. These are your words, okay? We're gonna go and see what a child is, okay? I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. What you said there is definitely the truth. Anyone having sex with a child is a pedophile. Yes? What is a child? What is a child? Google, dictionary, child, a young human being below the age of puberty or below the legal age of majority. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Do you agree with that? Okay. Now we will use the same search engine and we will search puberty. Okay.
I do.
Wait. Girls' puberty. I like these discussions so that we can educate each other. Okay? I will go to NHS. National Health Service. What is it? National Health Service.
Interactions. Good.
Puberty. According to the NHS website, when do girls reach puberty? Do you know?
It says 8 to 14. It says there.
8 to 14. Okay. So a child is someone who has not yet reached the age of puberty. Okay, you agree with that, right? You agree with that? Puberty is reached by some girls, not all, at 8. So would you say anyone beyond the age of 8 is a child, according to your definition? Wait, I'm talking to him. I know you don't like it. I know, wait. Yeah. Let me, of course I don't like it. Hello, I don't like it. I'm using your words against you. Right? You said a child. Anyone having sex with a child is a pedophile. I agree, 100%. Who is a child? We checked online. A child is someone who has not yet reached the age of puberty. And then we went to check what puberty is. On National Health Service, NHS website, it clearly states puberty is reached by girl between the ages of 8 and 14. So by your reasoning standing here, Prophet marrying a girl at 9 who may well have reached puberty by the standards put by NHS website did not do a crime. By your standards, by your reasoning. So only prejudice and blind hatred of a man who lived in the 7th century, who is the Prophet of Islam, you will reject your own reasoning. I just showed you in front of you that you are completely misplaced. You haven't studied.
Is that true today? Is that the point you're
Who is talking about today?
Well, you read the NHS. That's the
is it today, right?
Yeah.
Is that so? Okay. Are you still standing by what you agreed to earlier? A child is someone who hasn't reached the age of puberty. Do you agree?
No, I didn't say that. You read the full Google.
Well, we have it on camera. We have it on camera. You agree? I read the definition. And you said I agree.
That wasn't the full definition. What you just said just now.
Okay, can I read it again and see if you agree? The second time.
There was legality involved. But
okay, wait. No. You don't get where I'm coming from.
I haven't made my point.
Wait. Patience. This is a very good discussion. I like to educate people, and I like to get educated myself. A child. Read it. A young...
Yeah, right. I did read it.
Okay, I'm going to read it. A young human being below the age of puberty or below the legal age of majority. Do you agree?
Right, yeah, but...
Do you agree?
You just
Simple. I don't agree. So you can say I don't agree. Do you agree or do you not agree?
There's no way I'll
agree.
Yeah.
You agree. You agree. You agree with this definition. And when we checked puberty, by your agreement to or with this definition,
right, okay,
anyone below the age of 8 is a child by that definition. Okay, anyone above the age of 8 or 9 or 10 or 11, depending on when puberty is reached, cannot be by your definition regarded as a child. I am not saying that we should get married to 9, 10, 11 years old. I'm not saying that. Don't get me wrong.
Why are you saying
because
that?
Because times have changed, people have changed, cultures have changed.
Is that morally wrong?
Today it is, yes.
But
morality has changed. Morality has changed in the last 100 years. 100%.
Morality is subjective.
No, morality is subjective according to. Wait. Let me explain something very quickly. That's a very good question. You've asked a very good question. Now at least you understand that people who were doing it before the 19th century, for example, in Britain, for example, it was common practice at the time. Why? Why was it common? For a number of reasons. No. It was right for them. For their sake.
Was slavery right when it was happening?
No. I'll tell you why.
Why?
But you know, listen. Are you here to argue against me because you just want to argue against me, or you want to learn so that I can learn from you?
I'm listening.
Okay, listen then. Listen, they were doing it because they had reasons to do it, right? They were getting married to younger women because they had reasons to do it. What were their reasons? We can talk about them. Firstly, we need to understand how young were women when they were getting married to them. I gave a reference earlier. According to the British law, as late as the 1880s, as late as the year 1880, according to the British law, are you British? English? Are you English? Yeah. You're English, good. Your ancestors were getting married to girls as young as 7, 8, 9.
That's wrong.
Okay, but who are you to say that? You didn't live in their time. If you were walking with a suit, if you were a victim, wait. I'll tell you why. You have been conditioned. You are living in the 21st century. You're wearing the dress code. Okay, if you were a Victorian gentleman walking with a stick, with a hat, with a top hat, with a suit, and walking the streets of London, you would have no problem with that notion getting married to a 9, 10, 11 years old. For them, their conception, living at that time, it was not a problem. You have been conditioned for the last 100 years by liberal secular values. Things have changed. The age of consent went up and up and up. Okay, it was something different in 1920s. Then it went up, and then it went up again. So you have been born. You were born how long ago?
20 years ago.
20 years ago, good. You're a young man, right? You were born 20 years ago, and when you were born, the age of consent was something like 16 or 18, right? Now, because you were born in that condition, in that situation, in those circumstances, when you look back at humans or human history, you think those guys are barbarians. They were idiots. They were stupid. They were pedophiles.
Yeah, true.
Okay, you do that because you're ignorant. You have no idea. You come out of your mother's womb and you condemn the entire human civilization.
It's ridiculous, man. So you're saying that everything that happened in history was right. If it was right at the time, then it was right.
When did I say that?
Just now.
No, I didn't say that. Did I say everything that happened in history was right?
That's what you're insinuating, bro.
No.
I'm saying it was socially acceptable at the time.
No.
Saying that they
I'm not saying that either. What I'm saying is, first of all, you need to understand what they were doing, and why they were doing it is another question, which comes later. What they were doing was they were getting married to younger women. And in Britain, the law was that a girl can be married at the age of 7. Who says so? William Blackstone, in his commentaries on the English law, published in 1867, page 110, the last paragraph on the page clearly states the marriageable age for girls is 7.
That's wrong.
It's 7. Okay, fine. William Blackstone is saying that. You don't have to accept it. No problem.
I don't get
William.
Okay.
Victorians, all of them, accepted this law, applied this law, implemented it, in some cases by force. To them, getting married to 9, 10, 11 years old girls was perfectly normal to them. I'm not saying today, to them. Why? Now, one wonders, why were they doing this? One of the reasons they were doing it was the average age for people at the time, what's the word for that today? The average age of people. Life expectancy, thank you. Life expectancy for women in particular was very less than what it is today. Women would usually die in the 20s. Okay, this was one of the biggest reasons why they would get married to girls when they were young, right? When they would be young, 10, 11, 12 was normal for British men to do that. Okay, why? Men would be in the 20s, in the mid-20s, and they would be getting married to a girl who would be 11, 12, or 10, right? Because they knew that this girl or this woman I am marrying may not survive. And I can give you a number of examples to this.
On any of these
so this was one of the rationalities to do what they were doing. Right. Plus, they were not inspired. They were not inspired. No, but
there's no disagreement here. Yeah. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm saying it happened.
Now we're coming to morality. Very good. We are liberal, secular moralities. Okay. What if moralities change 20 years later? Will you then look back and say, well, people who lived before us? Because we go by our standards. We live today, and we live by our established standards. I agree with you 100%. Today we don't do it. I have daughters. I would never get them married at 12, 13, 14. Never. You know why? Because we don't not that people. No. Wait. No. You're not. Listen to me carefully. No, don't put words in my mouth. You know.
Let him finish. Go on.
I believe a girl may reach puberty or marriageable age at 13, 14. I believe that. But that doesn't mean that she should get married at that age. Wait. No. Yes, possible. It's possible. You know in Britain today, are you aware in Britain today, girls as young as 9 and 10 and 11 are having sex in parks on weekends? Are you aware? It's disgusting, of course. Of course we agree. Do you know it's happening today?
Yeah.
Today Sunday, yesterday was Saturday. I can tell you with confidence, hundreds of thousands, if not, look, I'm not going to go to that number. No, I would say easily hundreds right. Throughout Britain, right. From the northernmost tip of Scotland to the southernmost point of Britain. I'm telling you, hundreds of girls aged 9, 10, 11, 12 were having sex on the weekend with boys their age or possibly a bit older than them, right? Do you accept that? Do you think that's a possibility? Do you think that's happening? Okay. So why are these girls having sex? I'm not saying they're having sex and this is right or this should be done. This is absolutely abhorrent. I don't like it. I hate it. It is immoral. It is wrong. It's very clear.
It's wrong.
Because today. No. For their time, for their standards, for their culture, for their circumstances, it was perfectly right. It was moral. It was definitely moral for them to do so because of life expectancy, because of the other issues they had. It was culturally the norm. They didn't see it. Let me tell you something very quickly. No one argued about it. It wasn't an issue. I'll tell you why.
As with slavery.
No.
The vast majority.
You're wrong about this. You don't know what you're talking about. Slavery in the 17th century. In the 17th century, people like William Wilberforce and others were fighting. Absolutely.
The North of America, totally against it.
Yes, I agree.
200 years after the.
Okay, now you made a very good point there. North of America was terribly against it. Was the North of America at the time terribly against the age of consent for girls?
Morality.
Pin drop silence.
No.
Pin drop silence. You know why? You know why?
Morality.
You don't know what you're talking about.
No, exactly.
You have no idea what you're talking about. History is a very interesting subject. It doesn't work in blacks and whites. It doesn't work in black and white. It works with nuances. There are nuances. No, they did not agree with you. For them it was perfectly fine. it was not like the question of slavery. Your morality is conditioned. You are a Christian, right?
Yes.
You're a Christian. Your morality, your current morality is conditioned by liberal secular values. If you were a Christian living in Britain in the 19th century or in the 18th century, you would be getting married to a girl who was 7, 8, 9. You, what's your name?
No one needs to know my name.
Okay, I'll call you Joe. Joe.
Jatinder.
I'll call you Joe. Joe, a Christian living in the 19th century in Britain, would be happily getting married to a 10 years old or a 9-year-old girl. Okay, and that would be no. For them, it was not immoral. It was not like slavery. They knew.
We are disagreeing on something fundamental, and we're not getting to the bottom of it. Our point is that morality is transcendent.
Are you Christian as well?
No,
you're not a Christian.
I'm not religious.
Are you an atheist?
No.
Agnostic.
Yeah.
Are you agnostic?
Yeah, I suppose.
Okay.
Something is wrong or right throughout time.
No, it's not. It doesn't work like that.
And you can pinpoint something that's something that you can decide is wrong or right.
It doesn't work like that.
At the time, it can be considered differently, but ultimately, something is either just or unjust. It's
I'll ask you,
right.
as an agnostic, you're saying something that's wrong is wrong throughout time. Okay. Do you think having sex with animals is wrong today? Tell me clearly.
Yes.
Okay, 20 years down the line,
yes.
20 years down the line, I can see it legalized in Europe. Okay,
yeah,
would you look back when you're 40 years old and still wrong? Why? Why? Who are you? Who are you to tell people?
I see the point you're making.
It's legal in Belgium? I don't know.
Yes, in Germany, I think it's
there are brothels. No. There are brothels, but I don't know if it's legal. I don't know if it's legal. There are brothels. These are hidden brothels. Okay, where people go and have sex with sheep and ponies and sometimes they put lipstick on them as well.
We all agree that that's abhorrent.
It's abhorrent. No. What do you mean? Hello. Okay, wait. Now I have a very good question for a Christian here. Do you think homosexuality is moral? No. But today is fine. Do you think it's wrong? Do you think it's evil? Now you guys are stuck. You guys are stuck. They were united. Okay.
How am I stuck? Go on, please.
No, you're stuck because he's not agreeing with you.
He's an agnostic.
Okay, I know. That's why I asked him that question. I know. Yeah. So to you, something is right today. Okay. Something is wrong.
I don't know.
To him today, right? So likewise, standards change from person to person, religion to religion, culture to culture. From time to time.
That Islam has the correct standards and correct morality.
100%.
Therefore, you acknowledge that there is a correct morality out there.
Yes.
You think it's yours. I think it's mine.
Yes.
He thinks it's his.
Yes.
We agreed on.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So, as you agree that morality is objective in your ideology,
yes,
in your mind, then surely it has to be objective throughout time.
Why am I holding this? There's no rain. Why am I holding
this? Time can change your morals.
Yes.
Or your understanding of the morals.
Yes, I agree. Okay. I agree. But the application of morals can change. It can change. For example, our Prophet, whose umbrella is this? Whose umbrella is this? Is this a donation to me? Huh? Okay. Yeah, you can, please. Yeah, go ahead.
If we're talking about application of morals, right? Now, one of your arguments of rationalities used in the past to justify having sex with what we now call
No, morality, not rationality, morality. Christian morality has changed. Do you agree? It has shifted.
No, see, this is another point of yours
Christian
discussion earlier that I actually disagree with. The way that you were saying that how Britain is a Christian country and pre-1880s, it was valid to
forget Britain. Forget Britain. For the last,
we can use America as well, any other Christian.
No.
I want to put forward
tell me where there were real Christians in the world pre-19th century. We can talk about them.
As throughout history, very, very sparse.
Okay, give me one example.
Honestly, throughout history, one country that has adopted a government and rules and
give me a society. Give me a society. Yeah. Who? None. So you are an extremist.
Yeah.
You believe none of the people who lived before you were Christian. You know why? I'll tell you why. Because you will not be able to defend their actions, which they did or committed by their standards.
Now listen to me.
You are an extremist,
No.
and there will be Christians like you. There will be Christians like you a century later who will condemn you for believing that homosexuality is immoral. For believing, because they will change their morality. They will accept.
There are Christians now that would condemn me for that.
Okay.
So I am in agreement with you. Now listen. Just because a country or political system takes on the name of an ideology does not mean its actions are representative of that ideology.
Thank you for making my point. Thank you for making my point.
I'm agreeing with you with this.
Just because liberal secular democracies have a particular way of thinking or a particular system to live by doesn't mean that their standard or their morality is perfect. We may agree with their morality. We may agree with some of the points they make, but doesn't mean that they can dictate morality to the rest of the planet. It doesn't mean that, right? But you are directly influenced by liberal, secular way of thinking, right? Because it is this liberal, secular way.
So are you.
No, I'm not. I stand by Islamic morality.
Can I explain to you?
Yeah.
Now, I have strong reason to believe that if you were born and raised up in, Saudi Arabia, for example, as a country, right? I have strong reason to believe that your version of Islam, your interpretation of Islam would potentially be slightly more extreme. Extreme. I'm using extreme as a word. You know exactly what I mean.
Give me an example of extreme.
The cutting off of hands to certain crimes in Saudi Arabia.
But all Muslims believe that. All Muslims believe. It's in the Quran. It's in the Quran. A thief who steals a certain amount of wealth from people, who's a professional thief, would be punished in this way. Right. All Muslims read that in the Quran. It's in the Quran. It's not because I'm saying it. It's in the Quran. So all Muslims believe that to be a valid form of punishment. Of course, others disagree. Others call it barbaric. Others, Christians who were doing worse things, by the way, in the past. Because you see, what you have to understand is Christians change their morality. They're like chameleon lizards. They change their colors with times. They change their clothes with times. They change their moral values with times. Christian morality, pre-19th century, was perfectly fine with getting married to younger women. In fact, the Bible to this day encourages that idea. Bible encourages, in clear words, get married to younger women, virgins.
You can be a virgin and not a child.
Yes, I agree, but the Bible says child. It says a child. And there's nothing in Islam like that. There's nothing in Islam like that. The Bible says child. In the book of Numbers, chapter 31, verse 17 and 18, God commanded Moses to kill all women who have known men.
I'm not a Christian, bro.
I know you're not a Christian, but I'm telling you, I'm clarifying my position. Right. So Christians, even today, they don't read the Bible carefully. If they did, they wouldn't be liberal, secular Christians. They wouldn't be.
Hey, I'm one of the most conservative Christians I know, so don't point at me.
So okay, good. You're
one of the most.
You are a conservative Christian. You are a conservative, which is great. Oh. Do you stand by those verses and believe believe them to be morally valid today?
In all honesty, those particular verses, I have to go and read them myself. I have to understand what.
I'll quote them word by word.
No. But you have to understand, right? There's a context as well to all verses.
What's the context in killing women who have not known men and keep younger women, children, child women? It says child women. I don't know. It says it's oxymoron, child women. Okay. It says, according to the King James translation, keep women, children for yourselves. And do what with them? Do what with them?
It doesn't say.
It does. Hartun read the passages later on. Take them to your homes, shave their heads off because they've been dishonored, and keep them as your wives. Right. And no consent. No consent. You don't ask them, are you okay? Are you fine? Do you stand by that morality today?
Like I said, I have to read these verses myself. It's the first.
If what I'm saying is true, if what I'm saying is true.